Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we're going to talk about none other than the Quantuim Ranger. Yes, the Quantuim Ranger, the other Red Ranger in Time Force. Now, this was requested by one of my new subs, and I want to thank you guys all for your recent amount of joining, your viewing, your comments. I love it all, and I love all your likes. Thank you very much. Keep it up, and I love to respond to stuff. Now, let's talk about the Quantuim Ranger. Now, the Quantuim Ranger is none other than Eric Myers. We see him first as one of the Silver Guardians, an organization that works for Wes Collins in order to protect Silver Hills. Now, he is an old friend of Wes. They grew up to the same school together. However, there's a major issue between the two. Here it is. Wes is filthy rich, along with everyone in that private school, and Eric was not. I want to say he was almost basically a one-parent family, just because of his attitude, and there didn't seem any money per se, and you don't hear about the rest of the family. Now, he would leave school early because he said he had bigger plans, and he was always resentful because he had to work so hard for everything he went to, going to school there, everything he did. He didn't have anything given to him, unlike the snobbish students who looked down upon him at that private school. Now, the only person who didn't look down upon him was none other than Wes Collins, who is the main character of the Time Force Rangers. By main character, I mean he's a main Red Ranger, and would basically be the main focus of the series, like most Red Rangers are. Now, later on, we would not see Eric for several years, and he would grow bitter at that time and have few friends, and would appear next time working for none other than Wesley's dad, Mr. Collins. Now, what would happen with that? That'd be a different story. He would still be the same. Wes would try to have a conversation, basically, hey, we're all like old friends, and basically Eric would blow him off and be like, we weren't friends. I don't need your pity. I don't need your money or your kindness. He has a sense of pride and ability, but his weakness is the fact that he believes that he can do it all himself, along with his team of Silver Guardians, who he feels are probably closer towards friends and family rather than anything else. But he doesn't show any type of naming any of them else besides that. Now, he also pushes Wes away upon meeting him again. Now, he would be one of the candidates for the Red Ranger only because he chose himself to be candidate as the Quantuim Ranger. Now, he would find out that Wes is the Time Force Red Ranger and would basically attempt to find his own powers, kind of going, my god, every time I meet this guy, everything is given to him. He's now even a Power Ranger. What crap is that? So, as soon as he becomes aware there's a way to become a Power Ranger, he goes for it. And he has the device. He's almost killed by cryobots. He raises up the stone morpher. It's hit by the cryobot blasters, and it releases it from its stone prison it was in, kind of, and reveals that it's like technology from the future. Basically, Wes goes, no, don't put it on. Don't do that. And he goes, I'm not losing this opportunity. I'm going to become what I deserve to be, none other than a Power Ranger. You've had everything given it to you. He sticks his hand in, relieves the morpher, the DNA is connected to him, and he becomes the Quantuim Ranger. Now, he would enter in a three-way struggle against the other Rangers and Rancic for control of the Q-Rex. Would go back in time 65 million years ago to find the Q-Rex, which apparently had been lost in time compared to the morpher. But I want to say the morpher survived and the Q-Rex did not, the impact, just because the morpher was not a living thing and it wasn't as big, so it could get buried in stone and become fossilized, while the Q-Rex would just be utterly obliterated by volcanic activity. Sorry, I don't know what I said there, and meteor storms, or whatever the heck happened 65 million years ago, which there was a lot that happened 65 million years ago. Apparently a lot more than we need to talk about, and we're going to have a video on that in the future. I plan to do that. It's going to take me a little while to do that, though. But, so they go back in time. He goes to find his Q-Rex. Wes follows him, and Wes, I believe, almost dies and gets really injured, where they have to help support each other in order to get out. Now, he would recover the Q-Rex after fighting off one of Rancic's monsters, and would go on from there. And they would return back to the normal time period, and would essentially kind of work together. Now, they become reluctant allies after this because technically Wes and him had a connection of sorts, but he would have no real connection to the other Rangers. It would take some time before they have it in individual episodes. Now, the person who basically didn't like him the most was Jenna, because all her plans were going to crap every time she made a plan. And arguably, again, she was probably the leader of this group. While not the main character, she was kind of the main voice of reason and the driving force behind the other Rangers. So Eric would become a reluctant ally with the other Rangers and would basically remain separate, though, and occasionally aid them only on certain occasions. But it'd go back and forth between episodes. He'd help them out and go back and forth on a constant daily basis, but that's how it was. Now, he would be wounded right before the final battle by a Silicobot and would hand his morpher over to Wes to use the Q-Rex in the battle. Now, this is a major development for him, now going, Wes is worthy of his powers. He deserves it. Everything he's done has proven he's worthy for it. It's not just been a entitlement point of view, but something more. So he hands over to help save the city of Silver Hills, and basically the Quantum Defender and the Q-Rex basically gives him a great advantage, and he's able to destroy and defeat them. Now, Wes would return the device of the Morpher to him, and would be a turning point of him turning a new leaf, establishing a long friendship, and turning from anti-hero to hero. Now, when the Rangers would depart from the future, he would basically salute them and say, "Good luck, Rangers. Thank you for all your hard work. You guys were kind of needed." Kind of. That's his opinion, but basically he gives them, they were deserved what they were. They were deserved to be Power Rangers, and that's probably the highest praise he can possibly give them. Now, Mr. Collins would offer Wes command of the Silver Guardians, and it basically, Eric would go, "He did deserve it. It's upsetting that he didn't choose me, but you know what? Wes is worthy." Now, Wes would go, "You know what? I will accept, but on the condition that Eric is my partner." And this would surprise Eric, and it would basically be the beginnings of a long-standing friendship, and they'd be seen basically working together from that point on. And that'd be the end of the series for Time Force. Now, that is not the end of this character. Now, this would go on into Wild Force. In Wild Force, he'd be giving a ticket to none other than Taylor Earhart. I probably pronounced her last name wrong, but that's what it says. Earhart or Earhart. Depends on how you pronounce it. I'm going to say Earhart, but yeah. Give her a speeding ticket. Now, who is Taylor? Well, she is the Yellow Ranger from Wild Force. As she was a very fast-driven person, she always had an issue with speed. She was in the Air Force, so mind you, so she's used to flying jets. Not just all Air Force people fly jets, but she was a pilot. And so she basically rided him up. He would ride her up and basically talk to about Wes in the car, who was waiting in the car, about Taylor, who being, she's kind of like a troubled girl. Now, this funny part is, he is also very similar to Taylor. They both had troubled pasts. They both feel as though they're leadership positions and the like. Taylor's kind of a combination of Eric as well as Jenna. So it's pretty interesting to see. She's a hard-driven woman. She's kind of like the leadership position of the Rangers. While Cole is the main character, being the Red Ranger, he's not really the leader per se. He doesn't make most of the calls, especially in the early season. It's more of Taylor. She's kind of leading before even Cole shows up. Now, the two would clash heads on several different occasions as they would fight against the Mute Orgs, and essentially would need help from the rest of the Wild Force Rangers. Once it's revealed that they were essentially, he was a Quantum Ranger and she was another Power Ranger, they really clashed heads hardcore and would have this weird type of like on again, off again, I'm interested in you, sexual tension between them. Now, it would go on and they would eventually defeat the Rangers. Not defeat the Mute Orgs. Sorry, mixed up my words there. With the help of Nadira and Rancic, and essentially have a lot of battle there. Now, him and Merrick who is another version of him, kind of, who is a lone wolf type of character, would help defeat a putrid army, basically destroying them utterly. Now, he would use his Mega Battle, and other Time Force Rangers would basically regroup and do their big battleizers and attack, annihilating what was left of this putrid army. And they would all return to Animaria for a picnic, and that would be, you think, the last you see of him. But he returns again in Wild Force for none other than battle against the Machine Empire, who is trying to dig out Serpentera. Now, it's not just him, it's Wes, it's Tommy, it's all the Red Rangers from all the past seasons all come back to do battle against the remnants of the Machine Empire that are trying to dig out Lord Zed's Zord, the most powerful, most deadly Zord to basically take this on. Now, he would do battle, seen fighting alongside the other Rangers in a much better tactical position. He seems to have adopted that all Rangers are worthy at this point, and he does battle against the Machine Empire. And he would basically jokingly bemoan the fact that his Q-Rex or could have easily taken on, essentially, the Serpentera. Why he didn't summon it is beyond me, but hey, that would have taken away from Cold flying down the gullet of Serpentera and destroyed it from the inside. Now, he would be referenced again in Dino Thunder only because of the Chronicle episodes of Tommy Oliver, but that'd be it. And he'd show up in Super Mega Force, essentially helping Orion in visions, supposedly through the Silver Key. It's complicated. I wouldn't really call it visions. It's more like he saw into the past and saw basically advice that they've grown and developed over time. But there's no real speaking roles that I could see or find. He would also show up in the legendary battle to participate, but it wouldn't be him. He wouldn't remove his helmet unlike Wes would. So, you can't judge him from being there. He's an actor. It's been like 20 years since the battle, so a lot of times things have happened. Now, he would also appear in the split history of the Shattered Grid, fighting against Lord Draken, helping against a lot of different Rangers, and also in the Pocket Dimension, fighting against that, reuniting with Jen to do battle again. And his character would drop in none other than Legacy Wars and Battle for the Grid. Now, that is him. Now, his arsenal, he has a Zord for the Quantum Rex, or the Q-Rex. Now, the Q-Rex would be later taken on by another user, and we'll talk about that user later on, and it really upset me that they took the Q-Rex from him, but I can't get into it in depth. It's a long, convoluted storyline that I don't really like too much, but that's basically it. He is the master of the Q-Rex because it's deemed like etched to him. He has the ability to control it unless you are mute or you control Zords, but that's it. Now he has also got the Q-Rex Megazord or Q-Osaurus Megazord. His other arsenal is the Quantum Morpher, the Quantum Defender Blaster, and its Sword mode. Now that's kind of it from there. He is shown to have a Ranger Key and a Ninja Power Star. I don't know how he has the Power Star, but that's it. He somehow has that on there. Now, that is Eric, the Quantum Ranger. Now, let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that he deserves to come back in later things to talk about? Because he's still around. He still has his Morpher. What do you think could happen with this? I feel as though he'd be a great basic beginning of the SPD and going from there and showing off like his development. Also, with the Centurion Ranger being around, he could work with them joining the Civil Guardians and expanding the police force of Earth, especially with what's going on there. Thank you guys. Have a good one, and may the power protect you always.
Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe at the end of this video. All your likes help me out, and all your watchers do too. Thank you very much, guys. I would really like to discuss with you guys what your topics are. May the power protect you always.